How's it going, everyone? Let's see, today we got a Sound Design 4653 little boombox. From what I could tell, this one is from the 80's. I didn't find anything really on this model itself, but there was one model below this one and one model above this one, and they're like 82 to 84. So I'm thinking, you know, early 80's for this boombox. Everybody had one of these when I was a kid. You know, I had one and it went everywhere with me every time we went somewhere, or if we had a party. Mine was always there because nobody else didn't feel like bringing theirs, so I always just carried mine every time we had a keg party or whatever. Most of these were sold in like Kmart and JCPenney's, if you remember JCPenney's. In fact, that's where mine was bought, was right out of JCPenney's. My Sound Design, though, only had the one speaker. You know, and it, like I say, it went everywhere with me, and everybody always told me, you know, bring your radio, bring your radio. So I always had my boombox. This one I picked up from a buddy of mine, TC. He bought it at the Goodwill and took it home, and he said the radio works on it, but the tape deck doesn't work, won't turn. Now, I'm not going to say anything until we try this out, but I do notice that the pause button is on. Now, I know it can't be that easy, and I'm sure he tried all of them and noticed that the pause button, that may happen just from me bringing it home. But these are really good little boom boxes. It's a little discolored from age, a little yellowing, but it will, you know, it'll clean up. It'll look really nice. In fact, even the antenna isn't broke. But it does need a little help. But yeah, just a AM/FM cassette player, either AC or DC. You can run 60 batteries in these. See, the cord should be in the back here. Yep, there's our cord. And it doesn't look like batteries were left in it too long. There's a little bit of green on it, but that'll clean up and work just fine. But hey, you know, it doesn't matter. Even if we didn't get the cord, I have boxes of these cords that fit these boom boxes, and that's the Goodwill sticker that's on it right down there. But yeah, we have just the AM/FM radio or tape deck, just tone, balance, and volume, and stereo wide on or off. Your band selector, AM/FM or FM stereo, tape down, radio up. If you want to turn the radio off, you just flip that down and that turns on the tape deck, but that also turns off the radio. You have two little woofers on it and two little tweeters. These look like they're about a 4 to 6 inch little woofer. Most of these were made in Taiwan. This one is made in Taiwan. At least it's not China. But I'll get you set up differently, and then we'll get into tearing this. We'll test it out first and see what the tape deck does, and if it's not moving, then we will tear it all down and see if we can't fix the tape deck in this and clean up the tuner. This has a wiper tuner in it, in a little box that has a little that changes frequencies. I'll show you that when we get inside of it and see if we need to clean it, if it's crackly or whatever. So I'll get you set up and we'll tear into this thing. Alright, I'll get you spun around there and trying to work on getting better angles with my videos. I've noticed on some of my videos that half the time I'm in the way and you can't even see what I'm doing. So I need to work more on my angles so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. I don't have my lens flipped around, or my screen flipped around. There we go. Now I can see what the hell we're all looking at. Okay, got her plugged in. Let's see, we'll leave that off. There, it's on ready. Definitely got to work on that antenna. Radio is working. Now, let's see what happens. Yeah, I hear it running. I don't know if you can hear that. But you can definitely hear the motor running. There, you can hear the motor running, but nothing's turning. So that means we're going to have to tear it down. And, yep, I'm sure it's a belt. Most of the time on these, okay, no screws there. Phillips. Take out 6 screws. We may have to take the antenna out to get the cover off. Something's still holding it. Maybe. Or is it the face that goes off on this one? Let's... Yep. Looks like we're going to have to pull our knobs off. And let's... What do we got here? Ah, our little meter, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, it came off. It's just glued onto that plastic there. See, we got one wire there, and looks like one wire for the speaker here, and we can get that speaker panel out of the way. Okay, now you can see there's our belt hanging right there. So we need to pull the deck up out of here and see if we have a belt to fit it. Alright, now, like I was telling you about the tuner, this is your little radio tuner right here. That's what changes the frequencies to bring in different frequencies for your radio. This one's an enclosed. This is a little newer than what I was thinking. Some of them have a big round disc with different wing or different fins on it, and it turns and changes the frequency. Those ones you can clean up. These ones, you can see the wee little discs down in there, I think. Yeah, you can see those little plates. That's what actually changes the frequency. And on the older ones, I guess older than this, they're bigger and they're exposed, and you can clean them. We'll take a quick look here at all of our little caps, because you figure, you know, this thing's 40 years old, we'll say. And it looks like all of our caps are, we don't have anybody that's blown its top or is puking. So I think we're in pretty good shape there. And this down here, this rod here, that's your AM antenna. And of course your big one up top is your FM. Now if you've ever had a string come off of your tuner, those are really fun to change, and I'm sure at some point we're going to get a stereo in or something that will need the string work. You can see the string right there on your tuner knob, and what that does is when you turn that, it pulls the string one way or the other. It goes up and up top here to a little pulley, and then comes over. One side hooks to this side of the indicator. The other one comes up and goes across and goes around your tuner. There'll be a little pulley out there. And then there's another little pulley up top, and it runs over to the other side of your indicator. So when you move the knob back and forth, what it does is it just pulls on the string one way or the other and tunes. And you'll have them that when the strings get really loose, that you'll be on, we'll just say 105, but yet you're all the way over here at the end on 108. So you're missing all those, and you're not picking up anything on this end. Well, you're still picking it up, but you can't get over there. You can't get to this part of the tuner because it will not turn if that doesn't move. So what you have to do is adjust it. You have to get in here, and a lot of these strings have a spring on them, you know, to keep your tension. And what happens over time is your string stretches a little bit and your spring collapses all the way, and then there's not enough tension on it to move it. And what you can do is you take your string and just cut the end of it off and retie it onto your spring, and that'll shorten your string up a little bit and tighten up the string. And then you have to find like 105, you find your radio station with your tuner, and then you can adjust this over and then hook everything up. They're fun, they're a real pain. These are our little tweeters right here. Got one on either side. Just a little itty bitty tweeter. Okay, power supply, yep, everything. Caps aren't bloated or anything on the power supply either. So let's see if we can't get this deck up out of here. Looks like we have 4 screws. Looks like our counter will come with it, with this one. Yep, counter works. Probably going the wrong way. Yeah. But we'll change that little belt on our counter too, because it's going to be all loosened up. You can see there's our motor, and that's what we heard spinning without a belt. So let's get this deck up out of here and take a peek at it and see what we have to do. Nice fur ball. See what we have to do to put a belt on it. Okay, now like I said, we have 4 screws, 1, 2 on either side. I don't know if we're going to be able to get this all the way up out. If the wires are soldered on it, we'll have to just kind of move it off to the side so we can work on it. But if our wires have connectors on them, we can pull it all the way out. We have 2 sets. We have 1 brown wire that runs down through there. There's a little area where it. Okay, that looks like we're gonna. And same with this one. There's a groove down here for your wires to sit in, and we can pull him up. Wire underneath. That's the motor, and that one is for the audio out. So we are going to be able to, we have it all the way out. And we're able to flip it over and work on it. And there's actually 2 belts. On this one, we got our little square belt. It's broke. And I'm going to move over to the edge here so I can get you a little better view. Now that one should be pretty self-explanatory how the belt is run. You have your pulley here. You have this one here. This is what drives the mechanism and everything. And it should go over to the motor under here. And then we have a little bitty belt right down in there that we will change as well. Now I'm going to study this a little bit to make sure, because we have to get under here to get our belt on. So we need to see how that comes off, and hopefully we don't have all kind of crap flying everywhere when we go to take it off. Need a smaller Phillips. This one has a lever right here, and the screw goes all the way down and into the plastic. Now we're going to make note how that spring is run, just in case when we go to pull this up that we lose everything. It looks like the lever will stay on that pin. We just need to undo our spring like so. That way when we go to pull this off, we're not pulling up that, well, I think that little lever, where's it go? It sits right down here on this cam and sits right down in there. So we're going to make a note of that. Now we have another spring. Oh, we have a little spring right here. We can take it off. There we are. Leave it hang. I think there's one screw right here for the bracket to come off. And there's our little spring. You can see we left our lever right there on the pin. Now we can get out putting a belt. Yep. We can get at that belt. How about the one underneath? Can we get at it? This should be part of the pinch. Part of the pinch roller too. And I think our little lever just fell off. Okay. Yeah, there's a plastic retainer. The last one I did, that plastic retainer just is a resistance fit. Yeah. Just pulls off of the post. And then now we can pull him right up. Let's get our belt. There we go. Off. That one will be fun to do. And there's our little drive. And the other little belt. Everything a little stiff. We'll put some grease on it, like we normally do. And before I start putting the belts on it, I'm gonna clean this deck up. Got a lot of fuzz in it. You wouldn't think it would get a lot of fuzz, you know, being closed, but it does. They do. They get dusty. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean some of this, clean some nasty grease and that out of it, just with I have my contact cleaner. I'm gonna spray down the whole deck, both sides. And this contact cleaner, what's nice about it is it, you know, for starters it evaporates, but it will loosen up old grease and kind of make it pliable again. and then we'll have to let it sit. As you've seen, I blew it out with some compressed air. I was only at like 30 pounds psi. I didn't want to blow anything apart. And so now we're gonna get some spots greased up in it. You can tell where there was grease, and obviously if there was grease there before, you're going to need grease there again. And I always put a little grease on the gears, just so when it turns around, you know, it'll disperse it. You seen that chunk of paraffin that flew out of it? That's what gets them all gummed up. Let's see, this guy raises the deck, raises the heads. I just want to get a little bit in here. We don't want too much, because we don't want grease all over our tape. Let's see. Okay. Now we can get our belts on. Now this floppy lever here that you see keep flopping all over the place, when the radio's in the off position, or on tape position, the radio is off. So in order, when you press play, there's something that has to turn on the amp and everything on the radio, on your boombox, and that's this lever right here. What it does, get you down and I'll show you. When you push play, it hits this lever right here and slides it over. You can see it sliding. So when you push play, that's what turns the amp and everything on in the boombox in order for it to play. If you didn't have that, when you put it on tape, it would be on all the time. So yeah, that's why you have the off position. Now this guy, he's going to go down through here. Nope, wrong one. I'm going to go down through here. I got a belt here. You can see, oop, this is the old one, and that's the new one. This is going to be the hardest one to put on because we has to go on the bottom there. Oh, let me get my poker, and then I'll get out of your way. You can see there's the little pulley right down in there that it's got to go on. And this belt feels a little too loose, like it's a little too big. Nope. It's going to be okay. Now, we have this little plastic retainer that goes right down on that pinch rod. Like I said, that's a friction fit, or resistance, whatever you want to call it. There, and now, same thing, I have this is the old belt, here, the one that's broke, and I have a new one. It's just a little bit smaller, because we want it to stretch a little bit. And we need to, you may not be able to see everything I'm doing, but I'm gonna put it on the motor first, because that's the hardest one to put it on. And then it's gonna go around that one, and then around that one. Now, our lever goes down on this post. Oops. Down in there. So put your spring on first. No. Your spring. So your spring is going to go in there. Is that the right one? Yep. Okay, that's spring goes on just like so, and it's got a hook on that little tab. Oop, wrong way. Nope. Let's get it right. before we fix that spring, let's put this other screw in. The machine screw goes over here. We need to tension the spring. Now, on the end here, this bracket that holds down your big pulley here goes in between the frame and this black plastic slide here. This is what actually lets your door open. And it takes this is the little spring that we took off earlier. Like so. And that's the latch that holds down your door, or holds closed your door. Now, let's see, what do we got left? Need to change this belt. I'll go ahead and change that belt. You can see that's, that's just straightforward. I'll get a belt and put it on there, and we'll be ready to slide this back down in and see if we can't get some noise out of it. Alright, let's see if we can get this deck back in. First, let me get our screws. Could be 6. We got 2, 4, 5. And that one right there. Alright, let's get our deck back in here. Now, the bottom wire here, that one right there, was pinned down inside under the deck, like so. We'll get our, remember that little rod, that little lever down in there that turns on and off the amp when you push play. That'll go on one side or the other. It's pretty self-explanatory which way it does go. Screws down in. These two go down in this groove. Like so. And then that goes to our front panel. Get you down. Okay, and back you off a little bit. Okay, we have this plug here. Goes on the power supply. And this one goes to the see if I can remember where the heck it's at. What's nice is with the bend you can kind of see how it was routed and kind of figure out where it does go. Oh, You remember where it went? Well, tell me so I can hook it back up. I sure am not seeing it. Well, where's it go? Well, I'm going to have to hunt it down. Okay, I had to take the deck back out of it because never would have seen it. It is under. There, you could just see it. Under that slide control. Right above, no, you still can't see it. Where it's at is right under here. There's the, there it is. You can just see the outs there, top of the screen. Yep, right there. Okay, now I'm gonna have to put you back in the stand. And we gotta get this one plugged in first. I know you can't see. I can't either. This is pretty much by braille. I can just see the plug. There we go, finally. Route all of that. Get our bottom wire here down in the little tamer. Like so. And wrapped around. And there.
Oh, I can't see.
Why not? Open your eyes.
Whoa. Okay, there's the phone bill.
From
Verizon. There's Regent's bill.
no, what phone bill?
I think it's the one for the store, for our store.
For the store? Okay.
Because it's real skinny. No, that's not the one. Stands with $6.97.
Okay, folks, it's another day. Had to go to an auction yesterday, so had to stop where we were. So if things look or they're kind of off, you'll know that's why. Because I just didn't do a continuous. We got our deck in, and it's all hooked up. Now what I'm going to do is we'll plug it in. We're just going to see if our deck's going to move first before we put the top back on it. Alright, second one is down. Okay. This is tape. This should be play. Okay, we still. Aha, there we go. Was a little gummy. till everything got worked in. I don't like the way that stutters when you first turn it on. Well, it's just everything kicking in. Now see, on this one, this deck here, it's not a mechanical play. Mechanical play is when you push down the lever, it pushes everything up with a lever. This one is done by, I think this one's done by the belts and a solenoid that actually pulls it up. Yeah, it's still stuttering. I may have to try. Okay, we're gonna run with it for right now, and I may have to take it apart and put a little bit shorter belt on it. Let's see. Before we put everything, let's unplug it. Before we get too involved about putting it all back together, we need to clean our pinch roller here and our heads. We get them cleaned up, and then we can just lay the, oops, sorry about that, kick you around. Oh, I need, okay. Need a cotton bud on a stick. Because you know there's some contact cleaner left on them from me cleaning the mech. Get those all cleaned up. A little dirty. Not too bad. The pinch roller, you can see, kind of has, I don't know if you can see, but it kind of has a brown coating on it, and normally what that is that brown coating is coming off of your tape. That's, I don't know if that's the information, the brown. I'm not real familiar with, you know, the coatings on a cassette tape, but I do know that after a while some tapes will leave a brown tinge. You can see, where are you at? There you are. You can see that's what's coming off of the pinch roller. Okay, I'll finish getting that cleaned up, and then we'll be ready to set the face on it and plug it in and see if it'll play. Alright, I just have the face sitting up on there. No, I didn't put any screws in it because I want to make sure it's going to work first before we do that. Oh, let's... Okay, I can see it's working. I'm gonna play through the tape, let it play, and make sure it's going to be alright before we get everything all buttoned up. We still have to put our little gauge up on there. We need to do that with it off so we can work in there. But I need to test it out. You know, I can't let you hear music, so I'm going to let it play and drink some coffee, because today is a lot of coffee day. Okay, so to me it seemed like it was playing a little slow. So what I'm going to do is, since the deck motor gets all its power right from the power supply here, I'm going to pull this little power supply out of here and recap it and see if I can't get the voltage up on it so that little motor will turn a little better. Okay, sorry about that, but had another visitor. Let's see, don't tell me yep, the transformer is bolted. Or two of the screws that hold the transformer down are part of the screws. That hold this little power supply down. Okay, so what I'm going to do here on this is I'm going to replace these two little caps and check everything else and make sure everything else is okay, and see if we can't get our voltage to come up a little bit for our drive motor. Okay, that that definitely helped, recapping that little power supply. And now, and the more I play it, it needs played. It needs used. Just like any of these. Everything's working on the deck now. So I can go ahead and, first thing we need to do, yeah, I should have muted that, my volume. First thing I need to do is put our little gauge back on for our deck. I'll go ahead and goat head. I'll go ahead and pull that off so we can actually, I can kind of get down in there a little easier, I think. Anyway, and this was just kind of glued on. I don't think I can. Oh, might be able to actually take the door off without screwing up anything. See, it's just hooked there with a pin. This side has the gear that slowly, come on out of there. Be a good little boy. Be a good girl. Oh shit, there's a, and I got one spring. Let's see, but that does give me a little bit more access. I'd like to get it completely out so I could clean it too. Oh, let's see. I need my poker. Oh, jeez. Excuse me. See if I can get a hold of this. This spring is what holds the door open. And if I can get it unhooked, off of the door. There we go. Now, I can get in here and clean the surface. My idea, what I'm going to do, is keep throwing it around first before I decide, is I'm going to put some two-faced tape on it and see if I can get him down in there where he belongs. Yeah. Those are not screws, so I can't take this apart. I mean, no. Alright. Let me get this door all cleaned up, and then we're going to take some two-faced tape and we're going to put it in there and put it back on. Okay, got it all put back together. Got our little gauge in there. Like I said, I just used some two-sided tape, put it down in. And now, the only thing we have left is to see if we can't fix this limp antenna. Nobody likes a limp antenna. Now, there's a little Phillips head screw here that holds this antenna in place, and it also adjusts the tension on that antenna so it can stay up in the air. So we're going to tighten him up a little bit, and looky there. Now we have a fully erect, stiff antenna. Nice. Cool. Okay. The only thing left is I got to clean it up. So I don't think you really need to watch me clean it up. You've watched me clean other things, turntables, cassette decks, and all that other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this boombox cleaned up, and we can get her finished up and she'll be ready for somebody to enjoy. Yeah, there she is, all cleaned up. Got most of it. Like I said, this should be a nice gray, and it's got some yellowing, you know, just because it's old. And everything works on it. Our tape deck works, our radio works, we got the antenna tightened up, rebuilt a little power supply in it so it's getting the proper voltage, and it's all ready to be enjoyed by someone else. And I would really like to thank TC the Pack Rat for donating this for video purposes. He has donated 2 other items that we will be getting into, and hopefully the outcome of those are the same as this. And I have another freebie that has to be looked at too. So I hope you enjoy these types of videos where we fix some old electronics, some old stereo equipment, and boom boxes. Because I enjoy working on these, plus I get paid when I sell them for fixing them. So if you would, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, and I will bring you more of these stereo and boombox repair. I'm in the wings. I have an old reel-to-reel that I have been working on and videoing, and that one should be coming up shortly. After Gorgar, which may have already finished up. I don't know when I'll get this one posted. But after that, I have quite a bit of electronics and stereo equipment that I'm going to be posting to kind of fill in while I work on some other video games. After having the crud, I'm behind on that stuff, and money's a little tight. Like I said in my Sunday's video, whenever that was, like I said, I don't know when this one will get posted. So this is our sound design, model 4653. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, see ya.